You've got the best set of cauliflower ears in the country. Have you ever been asked if you play another sport? Like, are you a wrestler or MMA fighter?
A lot of people were saying, "Yeah, the UFC fighter," and I was like, "Oh, felt pretty good about it."
Yeah. Hi there, I'm Rico Gear. Welcome to the Ruck. Today, an ex-All Black captain who played over 100 games for the All Blacks. Also, the only player that has played 100 times for the Blues. Please welcome the gentleman of rugby, Keven Mealamu. Hey, Kevy, how's things, bro? Whereabouts are you at the moment?
Yeah, I'm just at home today, and it's Friday, so I'm done for the day. So all finished at the gym, and pretty much just kicking back until tomorrow morning.
Speaking of the gym, obviously seen you doing some really awesome stuff there, helping a lot of our people. And I guess what was it for you that transition out of playing pro rugby, obviously going into becoming a gym owner? How did that come to be for you?
I was lucky enough. I pretty much grew up in gyms, to be honest. My dad and my uncles, when I lived in Tokoro, which is a small town in the middle of the South Waikato, they owned a gym there, and as a young kid, me and my brother Luke would always be in the gym and just watching Dad and the uncles go to it. But you can imagine how much time both of us spent in gyms all around the world. Get a good feel for the space, and I think when you look a little bit further into it, like gyms are about people, being around people, and being able to help empower them is a pretty special place, a pretty special thing to be able to do, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely, Kevin. It's like you say, it's about the people and being around people and helping and supporting them. And I think it's a really important point you make, especially for us boys that are on the back or finishing, transitioning career-wise. I think it's really important to have a lot of people around you, through that time and keep things going. So no, that's great to see. And the other thing I see too, bro, is you're looking like $1 million these days. You certainly you're looking more like a back. I know you always wanted to be in the backs, but is that what you're planning for with that physique you got going on?
I was just thinking, it's amazing, most of the front rowers that I catch up with, all the boys that are finished, all the front row boys look like they not having to carry weight. We didn't have to, So I think most of us were tailor-made. That's what we had to carry in order to play in that position. But now that we're finished, we're just a little bit more just carrying what we need now, eh?
Exactly right, and that's it's certainly a good thing. So, no, it's really good to see, Kevy. I was just going to tell you, I caught up with Brendan Cannon a couple of months ago at a speaking gig, one of your favourite rivals, and one of his stories was how he politely punched you in the face, which to the horror of all New Zealanders, we wanted to get him, and then he went on to say that after the game. He's like, oh, Keven Mealamu comes up to me and I thought he was going to punch me, but he actually asked how the family and kids were. So, and I guess that's just a reflection, bro, of, who you are. And I guess the question is, have you ever lost your temper?
Our sport, you're always playing on the edge, right? Our sport, we're definitely always playing on the edge, and it's about trying to have that physicality, but having that under control. And as we're still young men, we're still learning to do that as well. So
yes, I had to have a bit of a laugh. Bringing Brendan Cannon, I'd sort of forgotten all about it. But you've certainly been a great example, Kevy, for aspiring rugby players and current professional boys around that whole discipline side. Which can be the winning and losing of games, especially in these tight Test matches. And speaking of Test matches, how did you view the game on Sunday? Obviously a draw was the result. I saw it as there were quite a few mistakes from a few individuals. Probably a little bit rusty. How did you view it?
Just looking at the Wallabies side, there's something about the way they played. You could see the passion with what they played, and I think you equate passion with the physicality that you put in and the effort that goes in, and so I could see that in spades with the Wallaby side, and I thought the excitement looked really good. I think with our All Black boys, I think as well, like being in a new regime and when a side comes out like that as well. I thought they did really well to be able to weather the storm because the Wallabies side, they came out and I think for the first sort of 20 minutes, they were just having to take it wave after wave after wave. So I think both sides still got a lot to work on, and I still think for both sides, especially they've been through COVID and been through lockdowns as well. So I know it looked a little bit rusty, but when you talk about all the drama of a game, man, you couldn't have scripted any better. Coming down to a kick right at the end, over 50 meters, and just missing by a whisker. And then both sides willing to want to try and play it out to try and get the win. It's pretty special rugby.
Yeah, man, it was great. You're right. We want to. Fans want to see games where it's nail biting, ideally, and for it to go 7 or 8 minutes overtime, just obviously added to the excitement. The weird thing for me though was how come nobody went for the drop kick? I was like, you're in perfect position. Both sides failed to do such a simple task, and I know on the back of the 2007 World Cup, that was a real lesson for the All Blacks in terms of not having that in the arsenal for that situation. So I was really surprised that particularly the All Blacks didn't take that opportunity.
Yeah, I think for both sides too, Reece, when you haven't been together for such a long time, and there's so many scenarios to a game, so you can think about all the parts of the game that they're putting together, and it probably would have been the last thing both teams would have thought about was if it comes down to that, we're going to have this up our sleeves. So, it was opportunity missed for both sides, but I really loved the way the game came right down to the nail, and I think for both sides, a draw would probably be a fair indication of where they're both at the moment. So,
yeah, exactly, bro. It's certainly added another element to the game this weekend. For the Bledisloe and moving forward, and exactly right, bro. Like there's 100 different moving parts to the game, and not having a lot of time, that's certainly not going to be a focal point of your preparation. So. But there's probably a good chance that it will be a part of the preparation this week in case we get another close encounter. So it is going to be a real nail biter this weekend. And obviously with the Rugby Championship coming up, it sounds like South Africa, have pulled out. Our greatest rivals. I guess that's pretty disappointing. I think for everybody involved, and you'd think they'd probably, they'd just come for the money, but obviously that's not a they're not even looking at it from that point of view.
When you think about the quality of rugby that we have in the Southern Hemisphere, what really makes the rugby strong here is the competition, and it's quite disappointing to see them pull out. But I suppose every team has their, and I know South Africa are going through a huge surge at the moment with COVID, but I think that just to have them missing for the competition, it'd be really weird to see what it looks like for us, because they've been a part of it from right from the start. So they definitely, when you leave a team out like that, and the style of rugby they play, that'll be something that both us, the Wallabies, and the Pumas as well will miss that style of rugby, because you don't get that with any other team, that physicality.
Yeah, no, certainly going to be missed, which is a shame, but I guess it adds to the excitement as well that it's going to be a long time before we see them again, and that'll be certainly something, we're going to be able to, really look forward to. And, with the All Black assistant coach, John Plumtree, he reckons, he sympathises with the Springboks, with their bosses. They've been given that deadline on Friday to decide whether or not to take part in the championship, following the executives meet, which was earlier in the week, with obviously New Zealand, Australia, and Argentina. I guess Argentina have been in a bit of a similar spot as well, where they haven't had a lot of preparation as well, but they're obviously going to front up, so it's probably not going to be an easy task, for the Argentinians as well.
That's and I think that's what we all have to take into consideration. All our countries are going through different, they're all at different periods or different stages of COVID. And so some teams' preparations are going to be a lot better than others. And once test matches are in the books, it's in for good. So you can't take them back, right? And it doesn't matter if it's asterisk that says COVID on the side, it's in the books, right?
That's exactly, yeah, you're exactly right, Kevy. And maybe that's why the South Africans were being particularly protective of, of their rugby, for that simple fact that they haven't had enough rugby, they're underprepared. I guess they don't want to tarnish, their reputation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd feel like I'd be in that same sort of boat that I wouldn't want to put out a team against such strong opposition like the Wallabies and the All Blacks, and think that everything's going to be okay. So
Yeah.
I definitely empathise with what they're going through and what the decision they have to make. But we've seen some really good rugby from both sides of the Tasman with our competitions. So they definitely it's probably a sign of respect of where we're at as well.
Yeah, no, definitely. And just going back a little bit, I remember, we were 20 years old, sitting in the stands of an All Black test in Wellington. I think the All Blacks were playing the French that day, and we obviously had the trial for the New Zealand Colts beforehand. And I remember you being, you've come through the ranks as a flanker, and then you've transitioned, to being a world-class, great All Black hooker. How did that transition take place, Kevin, in terms of that change of position, and who influenced you?
Yeah, I was really lucky. I had a great teacher and mentor and a good friend of mine, Jeff Moon.
Yep.
And he one day he had come up to me and he said, if you want to go further in the game, you need to change position. And I was a 7 growing up, open side flanker. And when he was talking about playing a different position, I thought he meant go to the other side of the scrum, not inside the scrum. So I honestly, at first, it wasn't something I was very keen on because I loved, as a Lucy, you love the open play, you love being out and first to rucks because you get to make a lot of good decisions there. But it's amazing how the position of hooker has changed, and you pretty much act as a Lucy with a few more roles in the type. But had a really good mentor, learnt a lot of good. Actually, I had a lot of good mentors, good players that I played alongside, coming through my time as a young professional. So lucky to have good people around me and really help me with what do you call it? Being able to learn the position. It's a craft, and it takes a bit of time to understand that.
The downside, Kevy, is you've got the best set of cauliflower ears in the country because of playing hooker. Have you ever been asked if you play another sport? Obviously, from people that don't know rugby, but have you been asked, like, are you a wrestler or MMA fighter?
Yeah, we were over. The family and I went over to New York a couple of years ago, and a lot of people were saying, "Are you a UFC fighter?" And I was like, "Oh, felt pretty good about it."
It's not a bad thing to be recognised as.
Or the other one is, especially in South Auckland, and they think it's believable too. It's never listen to my mum. That's why my ears look like this.
Yeah, true. Well, that's a good one to tell the kids, isn't it? So keep them in line. It's quite funny. I think at one point there, I actually started to get a bit of a cauliflower, but just on one ear. But because I played in the backs, it didn't fully eventuate. So now I've just got one ear that looks partially damaged and not quite a cauliflower and not a normal ear. So it actually doesn't look very good, but...
You got a pretty good mug on you anyway, Rico.
Take the distraction away. No, absolutely, bro. And just speaking of your career, Kevy, you've played so much rugby, you've achieved so much, which is an inspiration to every aspiring player and, child coming through the ranks. Do you have a memorable game that really stands out in your mind? I know that our first test match is always going to be a big moment, but is there a particular game that really stands out for you?
The 2011 Rugby World Cup final. I think it's something the whole day and the whole week leading into that final being at home, and it was just crazy in Auckland and around the country. Like it's that stuff that makes your hair stand up on the back of your neck. You could feel the intensity around Auckland, and our journey down to the park. From the city all the way to Eden Park was just lined with black jerseys and people walking down to the test match. So usually I'm someone that loves to have music playing but it was just amazing. It was just it's quite an eerie feeling going through from town to Eden Park, and all the sidewalks are full of people heading to the test match. That's amazing. And so, and being able to have the family at the test match there as well at the final, and to be able to win our first one in a long time, that was pretty special.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly right. Like, spoken to a few boys about it, and yeah, just the whole atmosphere. And I guess going back to the '87 World Cup, having that at Eden Park, I guess we're trying to repeat history there, and to have that opportunity, what an awesome, memorable occasion, and certainly something to be proud of. So. That's, like you're saying, it just sort of makes the hair stand up, and it was really exciting to watch the whole thing unfold, and some of those close games, and the blingin' Frenchman again, nearly blingin' spoiling the party again.
What I think too, Rico, is like I was fortunate enough to go to 2 before that, and the experiences weren't good, and so it's not often you get a chance to do it right, So I think, especially after we had an amazing team in both 2003 and 2007, and just to think that you get an opportunity to be able to right a wrong, it's pretty amazing thing for us as rugby players. Like, there's nothing worse than when you finish a year on a way that you don't want to finish. That sticks with you for a long time. So
yeah, no, 100%, and that's what it's all about, isn't it? In sport. So speaking of sport, we're trying to get Rebel Sport as a sponsor, and their new campaign slogan is "Sport is calling." So for sport, what does it mean to you?
Sport for me is just an opportunity, and because for me it's always been team sports, like. Just an opportunity to be around family, to be around friends, and really enjoy those moments. I'm really competitive, so when sport's calling for me is like any game, I'm always in it to be. All my friends are always like, "Man, you always play to win," and I'm like, "Yeah, I do. I quietly do, but I just love being around my friends and family when we get a chance to play basketball, touch, rugby, whatever it is, cricket. I'll give everything a go." So.
Yeah, and I remember whether it was PlayStation rugby or game of cards or table tennis, Kevy was always there trying to beat everyone.
So that's what we love about sport. You come across like-minded people, right?
Bro, now ask me what it means to me.
Okay, Rico, what does it mean when sport's calling for you?
Yeah, sport for me is about having the opportunity to play alongside your mates and enjoy the occasion. I really love that sport. Brings people together, brings communities together, but also gives you an opportunity to, I guess, enjoy the good times, but also deal with the times that aren't so good. But I think we strive to get the best out of ourselves and help build confidence. So that's what I love about sport, and that's what sport means to me. Awesome, bro. Hey, really good, Kevy, to catch up with you. We 100%. We're sort of definitely looking forward, to the game this weekend. With the boys. Then, of course, we're going to be getting over to the game when they come over for the Rugby Championship, and hope to catch up with a few of the boys, when they come over. But bro, thanks heaps for your time. Really appreciate it. I know you're a busy man, but lots of love to the family, and we'll certainly catch up at some stage.
Likewise, brother. Keep up the awesome work, and good luck for the playoffs this weekend.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Kevy. Choice, bro. Thanks for watching The Ruck. Don't forget to like, subscribe, make comments below. Follow me at RicoGear_gear_, even though I overscore. If you would like to win one of these Rico Gear t-shirts, give the show a cheeky share on your social media and make the comment, "Please may I have a Rico Gear t-shirt." Then it could be yours. If you can't wait, head to shop.ricogearrugby.com.